Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Corporate Harvard Council. Today, I just want to share a little message with you to get you to understand that you aren't what they say you are. Okay, you aren't what they say you are. Okay, so many times people out there will tell you what you can do, what you can't do. You're no good at this. You're no good at that. But we have a tendency to believe that a lot of times. All right, and my thing that I want you to understand today is that don't believe what these people say. You're not junk. You're not trash. You're not the things that they say you are, unless you believe that. All right. But I want to share a little story with you to let you know that you aren't junk. That you are a piece of art. You're a piece of artwork that God has made and put together, and He's put something down inside of you that you're going to be great at and that you can be great at. All right. But there's a story of an old sculptor. He lived out in the Caribbean islands. And one day he was on his way home, and he lived on this plantation in the Caribbean island. And as he was walking on his way home, he noticed that one of the houses, they were cutting down some trees. All right. And when they was cutting down the trees, what they were doing is they were discarding the wood and just throwing them over there to the side. So the sculptor just was walking by and was looking. And so he stopped and he asked the guy cutting down the trees, he said, "So what are you going to do with this discarded wood that you guys have over here?" And the guy that was cutting the trees down said, "Oh, man, that's just junk, man. You know, we're just going to throw it away. We're not going to use it. It's no good for anything." Okay, so the sculptor asking, "Well, can I have a piece of that wood?" And the guy said, "Go, take what you want to take, man." All right. And actually, the guy that was doing it, he was the owner of this place that where they were cutting down the trees. All right. So the old sculptor picks up the old piece of discarded wood and he walks back to his house, and he places that wood in the center of his room in his house. All right. So he gets his tools that he used to sculpt with. All right. And he just started chiseling away at this piece of wood. And he chiseled all night, and then he ended up falling asleep. And as he fell asleep and he woke up the next morning, he woke up to a beautiful bird that he had sculptured out of that piece of wood. So now he takes this piece of discarded wood that he's turned into a bird, and now he sits it out on his front porch. And when he sits it out on the front porch, the guy that cut the wood down that said that it was junk, he was walking by one day and he noticed a piece of wood that was sculptured into a bird. And so he goes up to the guy and say, "Man, would you like to sell that piece of wood right there, that art that you just created, that bird that you just, created? Would you like to sell it?" And the man said, "No, it's not for sale." And so the guy walking by really wanted it because it was really beautiful, man. And so he said, "I'll pay you any price that you name for that bird." All right. So he paid him an astronomical price for the bird. And when the man grabbed the bird and walked away, the guy who was the sculptor, he just started laughing because he told me that this was junk. So what did he just do? He just went and paid a healthy price for a piece of junk that he thought was no good. So I'm telling you that inside of everybody, there's a bird inside of there. There's something special about you on the inside. People may see the outside and look at it and say, "Oh, that's just a piece of junk." All right. But on the inside, when you chisel that thing down to what God called you to be, you're not junk. Okay. You're not junk, and don't perceive yourself as being junk. Okay. You got great things inside of you. Dig in and go get those great things. Don't let anybody talk you out of who you are. And they're going to do that a lot of the times. They're going to talk you out of who you are, or try to talk you out of who you are, but don't fall for that. Don't go for that. All right. Because just like that man that paid all that money for that sculpture, that piece of sculpture, wood, the same thing they can do for you as well. Because you have greatness down on the inside of you, and you got to let that greatness come out, and don't let anybody else stop you. Okay, so I hope this little message has been a blessing to you, and hopefully you can get something out of it, and be able to move forward and get out what God has placed inside of you. God bless.